All right, so this is a solar generator. We were originally going to be looking at one of the new Delta 2s, which EcoFlow have just literally released today, or are about to release today. I think they have released today, we're past 11, which is a 1 kilowatt hour unit, 1000 watts of power storage. But as I've mentioned on some rambles, I looked at the reality that we're going to get an extra battery for that, and then we needed generators, and then we needed gas for the generators, and blah, 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 blah. Long story short, it didn't take much more to effectively purchase one of these, because it was ultimately about $400 more expensive than the other rig that we were looking at. So why one of these? It's a 3 kilowatt hour battery. It allows us to put in a lot more solar, up to 1600 watts of solar, up to 150 volts, and 15 amps. So we have 1600 watts of solar. I've got 2 more panels coming. I'm going to wire those up in series and parallel so we don't exceed anything that is going to cause us issues. And we're going to plug it into this puppy, and that will hopefully provide us with sufficient power to operate during the day, even over winter in low sun conditions or cloudy days. And like I said, this thing has 3 kilowatt hours right out of the gate. So lithium ferrous phosphate, LiFePO is what or LFP is actually the acronym for that. I think this is good for 6,500 cycles, if I remember correctly, which, if you cycled it, that's down to 50% load. I think 3,500 for down to 80% load. So realistically, it's 10 years or more if you look after it. All the stuff that I'm doing with solar, I'm amortizing over 10 years anyway, even though panels, for example, last for 20, 25 or even longer. And good LiFePO batteries, will last 10 years, 20 years. I figure by the time some new technology comes along, we'll have definitely gotten our money's worth. So this is the creature. This is 100 pounds. So it's not light. It's got these 2 carry handles on it, one on each side there. One person can lift this. Be very careful though. And it does at the bottom here have a pull out. I'm not going to do it because this thing's in the way, but there's a pull out carry handle. You can wheel this around like it's a chunk of really heavy luggage at an airport or what have you. But the real kicker, and I'm not going to go into all the ins and outs of all the ports and stuff. You can look all that up on EcoFlow's site, and there's plenty of videos. For us, the real kicker is around the front here. Unlike the other units we're looking at, this has an RV 30 amp port plug. So literally, and we're going to do this later, you can plug this straight into the RV. If you have a 30 amp RV, that is. If you've got 50 amp, well, you're only going to draw 30. It's possible EcoFlow may come out with a 50 amp product. No doubt they will, because Blue Eddy, their major competitor, is releasing a 50 amp product at the end of the year. So who knows? But for now, we've got things that we need to do. We're not losing out on it. And if you find that, 30 amps is not enough, or 3 kilowatt hours is not enough on these things, it's got plenty of plugs, but this is going to probably live in the RV compartment. Then on the back here, you can expand this with 2 more 3 kilowatt hour batteries to give you a total of roughly 9 kilowatt hours. And if that's not enough, you can daisy chain this with another comparable unit. So you can easily get 18 kilowatt hours in total if you've got money to blow on that kind of thing. And that's all plug and play. But I don't think we're going to go to that extent. We might if we need to, but the plan is not to, for us at least. Hopefully this will be sufficient. The draw on this unit, I think, again from memory, is 3600 watts. It has an X-Boost technology available. It has surge capacity. So you can plug heavy, quote unquote heavy machinery. You can plug power tools and things into this, run your saws and stuff if you really want to. There's a thing on the front here. This is brand new. Oh yeah, I don't think that's a storage compartment.
No, that's just to peel that EcoFlow thing off.
Yeah, okay, I'll leave that on there then, probably. I'm probably thinking one of the other units that actually has this thing as a container for holding all your cables and things in it. So, or maybe it is. But anyway, I haven't really fully gone through all the manuals and stuff yet. I know enough to be dangerous. And that is the order of the day. Yeah.
So plug it in?
Well, we don't even need to plug it in. It should come charged. So let's have a look, see how much charge we've actually got. That's a good sign.
29%.
29%, it's not a good sign though.
3 days.
All right. So one of the other things with the EcoFlows is they have an excellent app that you can download to your phone, Android or iPhone, and connect to this via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and it allows you to manage a bunch of advanced features in the actual EcoFlow Delta Pro, which unfortunately is pretty critical. I think there's a remote control unit that allows you to do similar stuff as well. But when we start plugging panels and stuff in here, we'll take some video footage of what's going on. Our plans for this, once we've got it plugged into the RV, charged and plugged into the RV, are to run some tests on various bits and pieces in the RV, like the air conditioning and whatnot, and just kind of see how much draw we're actually getting from this. A lot of the devices that we have in the RV run on 12 volt, and I've got a 12 volt lithium phosphate battery for the RV as well that we'll document later for that, and that will be used to power our 12 volt components within the RV. One thing I do have to do is check the converter process inside the RV. It's got a conversion for shore power. It'll charge up the batteries, but we want to disable that so that it's not sucking juice out of this battery when we don't need it to. And then the only time that we'll worry about charging the RV batteries is when we have decent solar, and we'll turn that back on again so that this will actually provide power to both the RV batteries and it will itself charge itself up. So probably sounds really complex. It would have been a lot more complicated with generators and more cables and pouring gas and oil and stopping and starting things and all that kind of stuff. My hope for this is that we should be able to literally plug this into the RV. I think that'll actually fit in the front compartment with the batteries, which is ideal. Put this into the RV, plug it in, plug the solar into it, position the solar when we're down in Tennessee to capture reasonable chunks of juice, and let it be. It should just operate. And the only thing that we should do from a lifestyle perspective is just get on with it. We should be able to run our air conditioner. We should be able to run our computers for work. And eventually when we get the router for fiber, that should be able to run. And anything else that we want to cut down on power consumption, we'll apply as 12 volt devices, and they can run off the RV's 12 volt system, because that's easy to extend. It's just another $350 battery to double the number of amp hours on that. So yeah, that is our Delta Pro from EcoFlow. And I'm going to charge this thing up.
The battery is short. We will have to move the EcoFlow closer to the outlet.
That is a good point. Something I did not consider.
Just back it up that way, maybe.
Yeah. Yep. We'll shovel it up.
Shall I pause?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to plug this in now and charge it up, and once it's fully charged, I need to check to see whether this is supposed to go through a charge discharge cycle. If that's the case, we're going to have to plug it into something and just let it run down. Plug a compressor or something into it, or whatever, a drill. And
the dehydrator.
No, the dehydrator would actually do the job really well. The freeze dryer would actually be ideal.
Mm-hmm. It might die in the middle of the process.
That is also true too. But you can always then plug it in to shore power.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that we don't need to do that, but I think some people do that just out of prudency because there's still lithium technology and discharge cycles and
Grab a
battery
book
memory.
and see what it says.
Yeah, I didn't see anything in the manual on it. So and you get conflicting answers from people, as always.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, worst case scenario is it doesn't quite work as expected, in which case you go through what they call a BMS reset. It does involve effectively running the battery down to nothing and then holding power buttons in for short periods of time and then you need to leave it for a little while, because that's not just one solid battery, that's a whole bunch of LFP batteries that are all strung together in series and or parallel, and each of those has to be calibrated as an individual cell. And while you assume that work is done at the factory and it gets sent out calibrated, quality be quality. And this kind of stuff, didn't exist a few years ago. So it is relatively new tech. I wouldn't call it bleeding edge, but definitely coming along in leaps and bounds. So yeah, there's that. All right, last tangent. The guys who make the EcoFlows also make DJI drones. So used to be engineers for a DJI. So if you have a DJI drone, which I also highly recommend, same people. So if they can make really good drones, one hopes that they make really good solar generators. But we are going to find out. And hopefully it doesn't become a very expensive brick. All right. That's all I have for this one. Take care.